There has never been a better time to try 10 spell Cleric than right now. It's overpowered at higher gear brackets and the scaling is similar to wizards and rogues. However, it requires a lot of practice. The low end builds make it seem weak compared to other options. Arena changes everything. Now you can practice with good gear before bringing in expensive gear into the regular game loop. The perks I use for 10 spell are Advanced Healer and Overhealing for better heals, and Perseverance and Holy Aura for survivability. Perseverance reduces damage taken by 2. Not only the initial damage, but any damage over time ticks are reduced as well. True damage is applied separately and is reduced separately. Okay, for spells. First, we're going to cover the 2 spells that you're not going to take. First, Locust Swarm is awful. Don't use this spell until it receives a buff.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Next, there's Cleanse. I run this spell over Resurrection in Arena because there's no reason to res in Arena. This reduces your memory capacity requirement from 41 to 35. This spell cleanses some debuffs like Warlock Curses and Wizard Slows, but it needs a buff to be relevant in the regular game loop. You can't remove Bard's Shriek of Weakness. You can't remove Warlock's Blow of Corruption. Only run this in Arena and equip the spell last because it's almost never useful.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Okay, let's talk about the 10 spells you're going to use. First, we have our heals. Lesser Heal is a smaller single target heal. It has 15 magical healing base with 100% scaling. Make sure you save some charges of this for yourself. Without it, your only option for self-healing is Sanctuary. Holy Light is your largest single target heal. It has a 25 magical healing base with 100% scaling. These can only be used on your teammates. If no target is found, then the spell charge is consumed and nothing is healed. Sanctuary is an AoE heal that channels after being casted. Moving during the channeled spell will cancel the cast. Sanctuary lasts for 5 seconds and applies healing once per second. Every tick of healing has a base magical healing of 5 with 50% scaling. Each pulse also deals 14 divine magical damage to undead monsters with 50% scaling. Sanctuary heals everyone within 3.5 meters range, including enemies. Okay, on to the buffs. Bless grants +3 strength, agility, and will to your target. The buff self-casts if no target is found. Apply Bless to yourself first before casting other spells. The +3 will makes other healing and damage spells more potent and increases buff duration to benefit your other buffs. Divine Strike adds +5 weapon damage to your target. If no target is found, then it will self-cast. The weapon damage is modified based on your target's physical power bonus. It also scales with limb modifiers. If you Divine Strike someone stacking strength and he lands a headshot, this +5 damage can quickly increase to over 10. Protection adds a physical damage shield that blocks 20 damage. This also self-casts if no target is found. The shield protects from limb modifiers the same way that other protection potions do. This is a tier 1 spell that can be casted and regenerated from resting quickly. In low tier lobbies, this can be a more effective means of protecting your frontline than healing. However, protection does not scale. You're running 2 damage spells. The first is Holy Strike. It does AoE damage 0.5 seconds after it's casted. It has a 20 divine magical damage base with 100% scaling. It also causes a blinding debuff that lasts for 4 seconds. This spell will damage warlocks and phantomize. Earthquake has a 6-second channel time and drops a 2.5 meter zone on the ground that applies damage when anyone, including allies, move in the zone. Everyone in the zone receives a 50% movement speed penalty and takes 7 magical damage per step taken. This ability has 50% scaling and can damage warlocks and phantomize. You have 2 other spells you're running. The first is Bind. It immobilizes your target for 0.75 seconds. This is used to help your frontline catch up to the faster backline characters and can prevent enemies from dodging attacks. Most fights, this ability will not be cast, but when used at the right time, it can change the outcome. Resurrection is one of the most powerful spells in the game. It requires 8 memory capacity and has a very long cast time. This will bring your teammate back to life without needing a shrine of sacrifice. This is the stat priority to keep in mind when buying or crafting gear. First is knowledge. You need 41 memory capacity for the normal game loop and 35 for arena. 75% spell cast speed feels fantastic. At 75%, your burst healing can keep up with the burst damage from the opposing team. If your team comp requires you to pre-buff everyone with all 3 buffs, then you have 9 spells to cast before engaging, so 75% spell casting is a must. Second, magical healing. Cleric can get a max of 25 magical healing. That's +5 from advanced healer, +3 from your book, necklace, and chest, +2 from both of your rings, +3 from demon-clad leggings, and you can get +4 from unique mystic gloves. I prefer using demon grip gloves. Third is will. Your heals, damage spells, and magic resist all scale with will. Part 2 of the guide will break down how additional magical healing and magical power bonus scale your magical healing. 4 is health, armor, and magic resist. As the backline support, you'll often be the target of range damage and flanks. A high health pool and resist will buy you time for your team to respawn or to kill that target yourself. This will also allow you to take space if needed to relieve pressure from your front line and heal while tanking damage. Here's a clip from Artyboyy showing how strong a tank support cleric can be.
On me.
For your helmet, run Great Helm. Great Helm has 10% more headshot damage reduction and a higher base of armor than Kettle Hat. For chest, run Crusader Armor or Ruby Silver Cuirass. Crusader Armor gives that much needed knowledge that you need and has a decent armor stat as well as positive magical resist. You can always get +2 knowledge on the Ruby Silver, but keep in mind you're trading additional armor for less magic resistance. For gloves and pants, I'm using Demon Armor. Both have decent armor rating, and they can roll +3 magical healing, and they give you +4 strength. Cleric starts with a negative physical power bonus, so having the extra strength can come in clutch. For boots, I'm running low boots. These are necessary, especially since most of your gear so far doesn't have knowledge as a base stat. You take Radiant Cloak for the same reason. Run knowledge on your jewelry. If you have enough cast speed and memory capacity, then consider switching one of your rings out to a Grim Smile or a Ring of Resolve. I don't want this video to be too long. I'm making part 2 now. Thank you so much for watching this far, and subscribe. Part 2 will be out shortly.